Hi everyone, I am Keetra, and we're going to go ahead and do a collective reading, but we're going to do it a little bit differently today, so let's just jump right in. So today, instead of doing an actual spread, we're going to have a conversation with our higher selves. We're going to ask ourselves some questions to kind of get some direction on how we've been feeling lately and where we're going. I know collectively it feels like we're going in 17 different directions, and we need to just kind of focus and figure out why do we feel pulled in so many different ways, and how can we calm that energy down and just kind of feel better about certain situations or the way that situations come up for us. So I have some like kind of talking points, not necessarily doing rows today. We're just going to use, I have some cards here that literally I had my spirit guides or my higher self. I use my pendulum to kind of determine between all the decks that I have, which ones want to participate in the conversation with you guys today. And so we have a few. I don't know if we're going to use them all. I'm just going to kind of wait and see which direction we go. But the first one is going to be, where is your energy right now? So sit back, relax, and let's just kind of think. Where's our energy right now? I know for myself, I feel kind of pulled in a bunch of different spiritual directions. There's been so many things that I've been learning. I've been recently learning crystal healing bowls and what they actually do to our body. And I keep finding out all these new little things. And I'm just like, I feel a little overwhelmed sometimes because I want to learn so much about the ways that sound can heal our body and our mind and our soul. And I get a little like, okay, how in the world can I just like, is there a way I could sleep at night and also stay awake and like read books and learn all these things? Because it's just going to get us to that higher place of knowing how we can be better to ourselves while we're here. And so let's see, where does Spirit want to tell us where our energy is right now? So the Nine of Swords, wow. Sometimes I feel like my higher self is a comedian because I don't even think that card needs a clarifying card, if I'm being completely honest. I know it doesn't, I don't need one for myself. I don't know if you feel like you need a clarifying card, but that card literally just speaks to everything that I just said about, I mean, typically, so this card is known for like you're in like a nightmare. I'm not in a nightmare. I don't think most lately are feeling like they're in a nightmare, but they feel like, I feel like we have a lot on our minds. And I don't feel like it's negative this time. I feel like there's a lot of information that's been released into the universe, and a lot of people are receiving that information, but we don't know exactly what to do with it or which direction to go in. And so I kind of appreciate that card, if I'm being honest. I appreciate that card because it's a nod to get out of my head and maybe make some notes on the things that I would like to learn and just kind of take steps on achieving that. So maybe for everyone, if you're feeling that same way, if we kind of break down the larger things into smaller, doable tasks, then that also makes us feel a little less overwhelmed. So we would easily be able to get out of that energy. So what emotional power needs to be released? So let's see. Let's see if we can help guide us on maybe what emotional power may need to be released. Like, is there something that's kind of emotionally draining us right now that if we kind of had a little bit of a nod towards that direction, we might be able to kind of process it a little better? Yeah. So we have the page, and if you've seen my videos before, I love the page of any suit because it's really more like a nod to, you know, learning something new. So like the page in before the knight and the queen and the king, they're on that journey to become those stages, right? Knight, queen, king. And so they're learning on their journey. And I feel like a lot of us are learning on our journey. And so I think the message here would be to be mindful that we don't let it drain us. You know, just because we want to learn something new, thanks guys, just because we want to learn something new doesn't mean we have to let it overwhelm us. And that's pretty much what I'm getting from that card is it is exciting to learn something new, and we need to embrace the fact that that's where we're at rather than letting it consume us, letting it do anything other than that realization of we're going in a new direction, and it's a good direction. It's positive. And so I like these oracle cards too. And so here, this is good. So this says intention. Be clear and decisive. Focus on what you really want. Be bold with your requests to the universe. And this is clear conversation with our higher selves. If we're on that journey to learn something new or to settle down, I always say to calm the crazy, that's what we need to do is we can alleviate a lot of those stressful kind of feelings that we put on ourselves. And we just need to realize, okay, so what's our intention? Our intention is to be better to ourselves. Our attention should be focused on being kind and loving to ourselves, right? And to pay attention to the signs, pay attention to people that are coming into our lives, and maybe people that we need to let go in our lives if they're just no longer serving us. And I know that's a term that's kind of like overused, what no longer serves you, but there's so much depth to it, right? Because if we're continuing to stay in situations that aren't good for us, if they're creating those feelings of, I don't want this, that's literally our soul, our higher self saying, do the opposite of whatever it is. And so with this card, I love that because it's our intention. So like, what is our intention with what we're feeling or doing or being a part of right now? So that's fantastic. Guidance from Spirit on how to move forward. So if we are feeling these like new ideas and new situations, and we just kind of don't know which direction to go in next. Again, I think if we make them simpler by writing them down, I think that's going to help everybody. So let's do some guidance from Spirit on how to move forward, because this is a good journey. This is a good time that we're all in right now, right? So what guidance can we get from the other one? What guidance can we get from Spirit on how to move forward with all of this positive energy that's going around? Okay. I don't mean to laugh. It just sometimes, and I am laughing because sometimes it's the simplest answers, right? So the Magician, manifestation, right? If we want things to calm down in our lives, if we no longer want to have these thoughts, right? That there's too many of them. So what would our lives look like when we slow down and when we recognize when people are draining us, or when we realize that there's a lot more to this timeline than we've ever known ever before? Now would be the time to focus on that. Now would be the time to take advantage of the fact that our higher selves are trying to get us to pay attention, get us to pay attention to being nurturing, get us to pay attention to the fact that it's not just this body that we have, this being that we are. It's that we have this spirit inside of us that is trying to get us to understand that there is a better way to live our lives. And when we realize that, and we can tap into that when we can be nurturing. Like, let's say you can look at it as being nurturing to your inner child, then the entire system that we're living in gets better. It's like magic when you finally have that release of, okay, so I take care of myself, and everything else just kind of starts flowing. And then you just kind of wonder, why didn't I know this sooner? You're supposed to know this right now. Right now, you have the power to be able to manifest what you want. If you are dealing with situations in your life that you don't like, you have the power to, you have the power to change your trajectory. You have the power to change your path by just simply recognizing what's happening. I think one of the biggest things I picked up on today was that, okay, so if something doesn't feel right, because I've had some situations come up last week where I literally didn't want to do what I thought I needed to do. Didn't want to do it. And it has to do with something that's pretty important in my life, but I didn't want to do it. And then all of a sudden, there was this amazing conversation that I had, and the realization of, I don't have to do it that way. And all of these let go kind of feelings happened. And then I just asked, what is it that I want? And then there was a pause. And then I just knew. And so don't take for granted pausing and taking a moment to recognize your feelings in situations. And once again, these are my fun telepathy cards that a good friend of mine gave me. This one says commitment. Commitment is an important factor in building a successful relationship. So I think where this comes into play for us is we're rebuilding that relationship with ourselves. And it's not complicated. It's not. It's just taking time to, again, just recognize those outside factors that we let take us down, or that we let weigh us down in our mind. And so we don't have to do that. So I think this is a huge sign to commit to yourself, commit to taking care of yourself first. Everybody else is going to take care of themselves. I know sometimes I feel like I have to do X, Y, and Z for this person, but I need to remember, and you need to remember, take care of yourself first, because everything else will fall into line. But it won't if you don't take care of yourself. So I think that's super fantastic. Let's see. Ah. All right. So next, what energy is approaching? So I have so many notepads because I love to write things down. And so this one has the rest of our topic. So what energy is approaching? So like, what energy will we have coming forward to kind of guide us on this new note? What energy do we have coming forward from our higher selves to guide us moving forward? Aww. The sun. And the feeling that I get when I see the sun, it's just, she, the little one on the horse, is so blissful and so happy. I mean, when you're standing in the sun, the energy from the sun, it's an undeniable force. It's, for lack of a better way to say it, it's like a force that binds us all. The energy that we get from the sun, the fact that we need it, like if we've stayed inside too long, too many days, you've kind of like made it to where you're just not going outside. And then I've told this to so many people, like, have you been stuck in the house for a while? Get out, go get some sun, just be in the sun, because it regenerates us. I mean, we need it. It gives us vitamin D, that natural vitamin D. So we need it. But it's just undeniable that our spirit literally wants us to live in the energy, my ears are really loud right now, to live in the energy of the sun, to live in that moment of joy and vitality, and take that energy and go forward with everything that we've said today. And it just can't possibly go wrong. It just can't. And I'm not saying just always, those, oh, just be positive kind of things. No, just take those moments of realizing how you feel. Always recognize how you feel so that you can determine if this is good or if it's your soul saying, nope, we're going to turn around and we're going to do something else. So how can we align with the energy moving forward and prepare for that shift? Because once we do figure out that we're weighing ourselves down with things, what are we going to do? What do we do next? So what guidance can we give them for how they move forward next? Because I don't know, man, that sun card kind of just says it all. It really, really does. And so we move forward with the energy of the Queen of Cups. So exactly like what I was saying is if we can just move forward with our love. So like when we do something, is this something we love to do? Is this something that I love to do for somebody? Like, is this that feeling of emotionally connected? I think that's where we need to kind of go next, is make sure that we're emotionally connected to ourselves. Make sure you're emotionally connected to yourself, because everything else, like I said, will fall in line once we are emotionally connected to ourselves. Once we are, then we can emotionally connect to others and we can help others. That's the way that we should go forward. And so that was my last one. How can we align with it and prepare for the next shift? Because we really are, and I wrote down quietly powerful and transformational energy. It's like a threshold time. It's like I love a light bulb moment, and I feel like right now a lot of us are going through that light bulb moment, and it's a beautiful thing. It just feels like beautiful energy is just kind of like all around us right now. So we'll go ahead and we'll just do one of these oracle cards to kind of like close out this. I mean, it was a reading, but I feel like this was just a conversation that I get to have with others. And I hope it resonates with you. And if it does, subscribe to my channel, like my channel. That way I can try and reach more people, because the more people we can reach together, the happier we will all be. Nature's healing elixir. I am in tune with Mother Earth's heartbeat. And that's what I hope for everybody. I hope that everybody can get in tune with themselves and just feel that happiness that's in us. Once we get to that place of recognizing that that's what we want, that's our goal, that's what we need, I promise everything else, at least for me, has fallen in line. And I know it will for you too. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight's conversation. Like, share, follow, all that fun, good stuff, and have a great rest of your week.